I put it. Does my screen look really bright to you, or is it?
You look like an angel. Like your whole shirt is just very bright.
I
It's
think
like
it's.
just on the side with where your
I
light's
think
at.
maybe it's if I put a black screen this side. Let me move this to the left. Oh, not the. I don't want it full screen. Put the black on the right. There's one side. Let's put that. Is it because of that?
Yeah, that's much better.
Yeah, it's because I'm using the main screen and it's really bright. I don't think there's a dark version of this
Just
app.
turn down the contrast on the monitor.
Yeah, I could do actually. Also, another thing. Let's have a look at their settings where I can make it into like a dark mode. General display. There ain't a display setting in. And there's one person watching. I wonder
Yeah.
who's watching. Yeah, we've got
People are
one
just gonna
viewer.
jump in here and be like, "Who the fuck
Thanks.
is the dude with the creepy eyes?"
So yeah, they soon left. They were in it for like not even 30 seconds, and they
They're like,
fucked
"What
off.
the hell is this?"
I'm saying you're gonna see. I'll be surprised. I'll be very surprised if more than one person. Oh, let they're back. Um, if there's comments, put a comment in the comment section, guys. Whoever joins the chat, if you want to know anything. So yeah, we're just gonna have a little chit chat about a few things. One of them being that this man here, my good friend,
Farm stand.
farm stand, otherwise known as Aaron.
I just go by farmer.
All right, farmer. Sorry, mate. I'm giving everyone your name. No one knows your second name. Farm stand Aaron Julius the second. So hang on, I need to move this camera. You've gone all down there, and I'm not up here. So yeah. So yeah, and this microphone was extremely loud when I played it onto the YouTube thing. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go straight onto our live stream and see.
To me, you sound good, man.
Yeah,
Sounds pro.
yeah, it does sound pretty good. The one person that was watching is watching now. Apparently, I'm gonna give myself a thumbs up just because I can.
Hi.
You remind me of Alex. He's coming up twice now.
This is my normal face. People tend to walk on the other side of the street from me. I don't know why. I just want to see them.
That's actually really good. You could be a comedian, mate. Okay.
Dude, all I used to do was stream, man. That's all I did.
Did ya?
Yeah,
What,
I
for what though?
stream. I stream through Twitch a lot, actually. I was making decent money off of it until my computer died because of a fire. I lost everything in a fire, so that was fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the computer had like all this guck and goo and just all the extra particles from the water that they were spraying and stuff like that. I tried to save it and ended up like frying half of it. So I sold it for parts and bought a laptop.
Uh, hey, got to do what you got to do, ain't ya? I wanted to pick up a little subject with yourself, and that is about Tartaria. So let's have a little chat about that, and let's just talk.
Are we
Have a little
allowed to
talk.
talk about
We
Tartaria on
we
YouTube?
we got 2 people watching so far. Actually, no, there's 3 people watching, even though it's showing one up there. So
I'm
yeah.
glad that I brushed my hair today because I didn't know that I was going live with you. So I'm
No,
happy about that.
have you seen the? You haven't seen Jupiter the last couple of days, have you?
No, we have a
It's,
Jupiter.
it's crazy bright and big.
Well, I did hear that Jupiter is supposed to be like the closest that it's ever been for like what is it like 130 or 300 years or some crazy number that I'll never see in my entire existence here
Yeah,
in this body.
I was gonna say that Jupiter's close. Apparently, in where it is in the outer sphere, out of the firmament, shall I say? Because it is a firmament. There must be a firmament to hold things in. No, do you
What's a
believe me?
firmament?
so like they call it the ozone layer or the atmospheric layers. There is something up there that is stopping us from being able to like blast straight through it. So like instead of it being something like a metal or something glass or some shit like that, some heavy kind of material, yeah, it's more so like what I'm perceiving to be imagine a bubble. It's coated with it's just a bubble, right? Imagine a bubble. You blow a bubble when it's floating about, and things can penetrate into that bubble, but they have to be very small things. So that's why I'm seeing as like the dome that's over us is like a bubble, kind of almost, of a certain different chemical kind of makeup, whatever.
Well, then
But
I should go up there because all my exes say that I'm really small.
You're actually joking. He just randomly said sank, just completely out of place, but it made it funny.
I do. I do this a lot. I used to stream, like I said, I used to stream a lot, so I'll just make weird content. I kind of miss it at times. Like it was entertaining as heck to like just stream. But anyway, so you were saying small things can pass through the bubble, so I can go, but you can't. You're bigger. All you other average guys out there can't go either. All right, only for us below average people, we at least have to get high at one point. So small things can penetrate the bubble. So you think that there's a bubble around our Earth?
What I think it is, this is what I've come to a conclusion of, is that there's a dome which is like, it's like a sealed, it's like half of a bubble, for instance, yeah, but it's not a bubble, but it's like a dome made up of whatever viscosity of gases, materials, and whatever that binds it together to make this firmament, right? And you can get through the firmament, but I'm looking at the Earth as like one eye, like an eyeball. You look at your eyeball, you've got your lens and all that, and you're seeing from a central point, and the optics and all that kind of stuff works the same. You know, like when you think you're going down south, it's actually when you get down south of past the equator, things start to look different. Like, for instance, the moon phase changes, the stars seem to move in a different direction, because you'd like feel like you're standing upside down when actually in fact you're not, or you might not be. It might be the fact that your eyes have optics, and when you look through your eyes, you're seeing an inverted image. It's actually an upside down image. So same thing goes with optics. If you move to a certain distance, so there's like a lens. If you're looking through a lens, which would be if it's a dome, right? When you get to a certain point, the optics will start to change, and then eventually the image will be reversed. So what you'd see in the sky would be moving the opposite way. The little further out you go, and then in the center it'd look normal and just spinning. Then you'd still see like the Polaris and that spinning in the sky, because you're at a certain point. You're not at the point where it changes, you know. So it's like,
well, Polaris is also like basically a stationary object inside of our sky. It's completely and totally what it's not magnetic north, it's true north, right? Or is it the other way around?
Yeah. Polaris. I'm not sure, mate. I'm not sure. All I was thinking was like not only have you got how can I put this without sounding stupid?
So okay, real quick, like side tangent for the people that were like listening during Jupiter, but like how does Jupiter come into all this if we're sealed inside of a dome? Like,
no, because what I believe is there actually is planets that are out there, but we're stuck inside here, and we can't get out there, because in order for us to get out there, we have to take a craft which has its own propulsion drive. It has to have, what you told me as well, is it has to have a it's got to have a flux. What's the magnetic? What do you call it?
Oh, Taurus field.
It has to have a torus field. So we're able to
Sorry,
toroidal
toroidal.
field,
I always say
toroidal field,
Taurus.
toroidal field, for it to be able to generate the energy, like allow the energy to flow from A to B in that field. So like the Earth, what I'm thinking is, we only have a true north, right? We can only go to true north, and that's what the compass points to. It doesn't point to south. So where the fuck is south? See what I'm saying?
Actually, it's vice versa. So our magnets always pull to the south. So we imagine, or we've been told that everything goes true north. Everything's actually like the magnet actually pulls to the south.
Right.
It's just set on the compass that it says north, and
right. Okay. Well,
but same thing.
So then this is so saying that it's south, then it's pointing south. It's actually drawn to south. Oh yeah, no, that would make sense. Because north, no, because it's set as a north, east, south, and west, isn't it? On the compass, I'm thinking positive north and south, negative south, negative, positive. The negative will be drawn to the positive. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking that. But anyway, yeah. So like, we can only point one way. There's only one south, as you're saying. No matter where you go, it's always pointing south, right? So that just shows me that the planet that we're living on is far, far, far bigger than what we're told, for one. And past Antarctica and that, there must be. I'm just guessing, right? There must be a north and a south pole if we're living on a globe Earth. But where we're living is like massive, but it's not even, I don't know, a tenth of the size of the actual Earth. Do you know what I'm saying?
yeah. Actually, I just saw a video that was from like Admiral Byrd's time.
Yeah.
When he was flying over the South Pole, and I think it was Admiral Byrd. Doesn't really matter. Maybe it's from the 70s. The video on it's really crap, but you can actually see they're flying over the south, over Antarctica, and it's just solid white everywhere that you look. Just solid white. And out of nowhere, you see like this huge stretch of unwhitened land. It's all like brown, greens, and blues. And there's a 5 mile. I got a cough. Or clear my throat. There's a 5 mile lake that's actually in there, and vegetation and everything. So why didn't we learn about that in school? That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, if there's extra land that's out there, why can't normal people, non-military people, or even like, obviously, like, I'm not going to be able to afford like going over to the South Pole and taking a trip. Plus, I really don't like the cold anyway. But like, why can't like the elite, or I don't really like the elite. That's a different story. You know, the rich and famous, or even movies, be shot out there. Like,
yeah,
beautiful landscape.
Exactly, man. It's like there's so much land that they ain't traveled. Like, well, they will obviously know they've traveled there, but there must be. But then I think that there's a point where it stops. As that I sent you that video of that. I can't remember what it was. What was it called? Like the encyclopedia of.
Yeah, so Encyclopedia Britannica of 1950. I want to say 54 or 58, somewhere in there.
I think it's 58. Yeah.
Which was 2 years after the Antarctic Treaty, which is the only treaty that's ever been done for this long. And by the way, Russia just broke it. They're leaking a bunch of stuff. If you guys want to check that out, go do your research. Yeah. But yeah, it's the only treaty that's actually lasted, what is it, like 70 years now? And it straight up says, we're going to use this for peaceful. This whole area is all peaceful. We're not going to fight over resources. We're not going to do any of that. So like, if we could do that for one continent, why can't we do that for the rest of the continents and just not do this war thing anymore? Like, who cares?
Yeah. And it's just like on that encyclopedia, it states on there it states the coordinates for where the dome ends, kind of thing. Like
80 by 90, yeah.
and the limit of like the height you can go to. Now that's really, really weird because that's not only the first time I've like heard similar information about that, and there's other maps that show the same fucking thing before then, which have all been fucking got rid of. Right, so it's very strange how all these are correlating, and it's like maybe we are literally stuck in like a domed area. That's a massive area, but it's domed, and there is a far greater Earth. It's a much, much bigger Earth, but we're just kept in this specific place. Obviously, you've got to think that the sun seems to be local to me. It really does now, because when I look at it, I think to myself, hang on a minute, you've got parallel lines, not parallel lines coming from it, but they're only like coming through the clouds at a certain,
Which would be impossible if it was whatever million miles away, because the light would be so bright that would be illuminating from there that it would completely overshadow the entire area, and it would be an equidistant line type thing, like the lines that you see coming out of the clouds and all that. You wouldn't see those lines because it would be so far away. That wouldn't happen. It would be everything would be illuminated at the exact same time, which obviously if a couple clouds pass in front of the sun and you see just that perfect what I can't words right now.
Yeah.
The streaks, there we go, streaks.
Yeah,
those perfect streaks coming off of them. You can't do that if it's that far away.
It's fascinating. I don't know if this is me that's on this live. Let me just close this down quickly and see if I go off. There was 3 people watching. As soon as I started talking about flat, they just disappeared. I thought, oh god, no.
Okay, they're not ready.
There's one person on it. No, it's not. It's not even about. But that's the thing. What we're not even saying that it's. We're not actually saying it's flat. Like it's a true just flat disc, and that's it. Like with this dome, we're not saying that. What I'm putting forward is that we live on a globe Earth, but we're on a flat part of the globe Earth because the Earth is fucking huge, right? So that part would be flat. It would seem very flat because of the size of the Earth, right? So it would take miles and miles to get any curvature and for you to be able to see it. So we wouldn't be able to see it because of the sheer size of it. And then that information with the book and all the old maps just showing other land and showing this place that we can't get to, kind of thing, past a certain point. It's just 0 people watching. It don't matter. It will get saved and people will watch it afterwards anyway. So I would like them to listen to the information. So so it's 10 points. As I said, the dome, the like places you can't travel to, the Earth. I don't believe is flat, but it's a massive, massive Earth. Because there's planets out there. They're saying there is, where you can see them through your telescopes and that. We can't say that the sky is just like a hologram. It could well be, but it just seems like the moon as well. The way that the moon's orbiting, and it is spherical. You can kind of see it when it wobbles and that it's got shape to it. So it makes sense that there is planets out there, but it's just we're being lied to about this planet we're living on, and they're making it out to be much, much smaller to keep us in this little box contained and narrow-minded, so we don't look out and think, fucking hell, there's more to this, and they're chatting shit than we know. Do you know?
And even more, there's more to this than all of that. And all of that doesn't exist without this.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But that's exactly like the kind of the plan. The whole thing goes around making the average person feel insignificant and turning away from our own journey. This is a journey. This is an experience. This is a joy, and it's also torture. There's a lot of good but you
Yeah.
can't appreciate with the good without the bad, and you can't appreciate what the bad did to you and appreciate it without knowing good. So,
Mm.
but if you keep saying the word planet too, have you ever looked up the etymology of the word planet?
Plan ET, I've always thought of.
Yeah, it's Plan ET. There was another.
Plan ET and Earth is heart, so Plan ET heart.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically, it's figment. It doesn't
Mm.
really. It's not really a thing. I mean, if you take any telescope, any average telescope, and you said Jupiter's like really close in the sky, right?
Yeah.
Shoot a couple shots of Jupiter. Like look
Mm.
at it. Look at it through your telescope, look at it through your camera, grab your Nikon 900 whatever it is
Yeah.
and check it out. And most of the time with the planets that are supposed to be in our solar system, excluding the moon, because with the theory of flat earth, the moon is, I'm going to say theory, hopefully we don't get banned.
Mm.
With the theory of flat earth, the the moon and the sun are actually supposed to be local, so you can shoot pictures of those all day and they're actually going to come out really, really well. Now if you shoot something that's like a planet like Jupiter,
Mm.
from the photos that I've seen that haven't been digitally reconstructed by certain agencies,
Mm.
um it kind of looks like a frequency pattern. It looks
Mm.
like shiny lights and things of that sort. It kind of looks like um bubbles.
You should have seen last night. You should have seen last night because you can even see it tonight. Jupiter is its closest point to the Earth for like another 200 years or something, or 2,000 years or some shit.
Some ridiculous time, yeah.
And I looked at it last night through my P900, and I could see the flipping lines on Jupiter, like the
Really?
actual, like, yeah, through my Nikon camera. And I had my friend actually had his telescope on it, and he was zoomed right in, and you could see it so fucking clear. It was like looking at the moon, not obviously as clear as the moon, like as in like it's like you can see all the individual craters, but you could see the thing was like massive, clear. You could see the lines. You could see the like circle. You know where the eye part of it is. You could see that like through his telescope. It was fucking crazy, and I've never seen that before. Like, and I'm not discrediting what you're saying. I've never seen that before until it's got this close. So that just kind of gives
Validation.
validation to it actually being a real body of something, and it's come closer to the Earth because it goes further away and comes closer. So like for it to be going further and coming closer, it kind of like makes me think, if it was a projection, why would it be like that? Do you know? If it was, it just kind of things orbit it as well. You can see the moons, like there, you could see the four moons. There's more than that, but you could see them really bright right next to it. So that's why I'm saying, like, I'm not discrediting the fact that we're on this plane of existence where it's like enclosed, because it most possibly is. We've probably been put in this bubble on purpose. Yeah. Because until you pass this section, I'm guessing, until you pass what you need to achieve in your conscious awakening, a conscious growth, you need to get to that point. And until you get to that point, then you're just going to be brought back in, like, kind of thing, you know? And I feel like personally myself, the way that I'm acting now, I have gone leaps and bounds from me like 6-7 months ago. Like now I'm really, really thinking about what I'm saying before I swear. Like even before I'm swearing, I'm like, change the word instantaneously before I even say it. So I'm not doing no cursing, but obviously the English language is just all kinds of spells and shit anyway. And I'm swearing now saying shit, but
Yeah.
it's just like day to day. I'm not talking about this conversation, but you just find yourself being more focused on being at harmony and at one with everything and appreciating everything and looking in it, just the silliest of things, just being appreciative of, like, you've got a house you're living in and all kinds of stuff, man. Having a beautiful wife, having a beautiful dogs, having a beautiful family, loving, caring, like just having that appreciation just makes such a difference to your day-to-day life, man. It really, really does. I've said it to you so many times. It really fucking does. waking up and just being like so positive and so loving towards everything and the earth, and just saying thanks to God, to the universe, the creator, to the highest of high, because there is obviously a creator. We are part of the creation and partly creators, but there is creators above us, because they're the heightened spirits that have been here before and they've ascended to become the overlookers and the, did you know what I mean? We're just all a part of a lesson. That's what I believe. It might be wrong, but it seems that way. It seems that way.
You also said, like, if we're in a sealed system, to kind of go off of like the whole flat earth thing, and just to bring in another theory, well, and I'm just gonna pull them both together. So simulation theory.
Yeah.
Simulation theory says that basically that we're just a part of a matrix, right? That we're part of a computer program. Now, if that were to be true, say we are the AI. Let's say we're the artificial intelligence that was actually created by some other intelligence. Wouldn't you seal it into a system first, see how it reacts, see how it acts, see how it evolves, see how it does everything, basically disconnect it from the internet, right? You don't want it to have full Skynet type powers, right?
Yeah.
It from the rest of everything else. You don't want it getting out into the general space and other planets that are out there and exploring those things. So you'd seal it in. The same thing goes for kind of the flat earth dome firmament type thing. Is I think I do think that we're under a firmament. I think that we're stuck here. I think there is no way off this rock. There might be a couple ways off this rock, but I think they are heavily guarded, militarily and things of that sort. But that's the thing. You seal the artificial intelligence or the intelligence until you know what it's going to do. And part of that knowing what it's going to do is your consciousness. If we all started getting back to that Tartarian type mentality of not worrying about energy, because they had, it seems like they had infinite energy or free energy or some kind of way of creating that kind of thing. And again, you do some research, but if we got away from that, if we got into free energy, we got away from this whole job working thing and just burning ourselves out, trying to live our lives and doing whatever, and started concentrating more on helping one another and helping ourselves as well. Because you can't help somebody else that's not willing to help themselves. You can't help somebody else if you're not willing to help yourself either. So by getting into that consciousness of love, light, and all that other fun stuff that goes along with that, and realizing that we are all here for a purpose.
Yeah.
Maybe the skies will open up. Maybe the firmament will disappear. Maybe we can escape. But I think we have to prove it through mass awakening, through massive amounts of people coming together and saying, hey, we're going to live by these 10 commandments or whatever you want to say,
If you think about it, you got to sort of take your mind back to, well, you can't take your mind back there because you probably was alive then, but incarnation of a different lifetime. But if you go back and then you think, how did these people achieve what they achieved at first? And then you work out that, well, firstly, these people must have been in a heightened state of being, for one. They must have gone through the stages of what we've gone through, and then they've come back and got to that point where they're able to, I'd say they've basically come back to a point where they're able to do things with either certain technologies, conscious abilities, the true superpowers which we all have, the telepathy, the astral projection. That's one of the powers. The ability to move matter with intention, your own electromagnetic fields that you can create. That's been proved by so many people, and just multiple different techniques that we maybe even harmonizing with sound frequency and all meditating it together, and creating stuff from nothing, kind of from just the fabric of creation, the reality creation. So I feel like that is part of, I think those things is what helped the people before create such amazing architecture and whatever. And it wasn't just being built by specialist equipment. They were doing it maybe with specialist equipment, but also they might have been doing it with some kind of like next bodily skills which we don't harness anymore, like the ability to manipulate energy.
Well, Nikola Tesla said, if you want to have the key to the universe, I'm going to paraphrase this because I'm probably going to get it wrong, but if you want to have the key to the universe, you have to think in terms of vibration, frequency, and sound.
Sound, frequency, and vibration. Yeah.
But all three of those are derivatives of the exact same constant, which is frequency. It's math. It's language. Same thing goes with water. I mean, you heat up water in order to boil it, right? To turn it into steam. You're just vibrating those molecules faster and faster. You want to freeze it. You want to turn it into a solid. You slow it down.
Yeah.
And it turns into a solid. So it's kind of the same thing. I mean, if you think of the world in terms of frequency, we could have created all of those magnificent structures purely off of frequency. And like you said, intention. But when you were talking about like people come together and things of that sort for like the Tartarian Empire, one of the things that I remembered, or I was brought back to, is seeing the videos of the White City. Chicago had the World's Fair, right? Back in 1890, somewhere around there, 1880, 1890. So prior to the 1900s, and seeing all these people, nice clothes, walking around, enjoying the little fair that's going on. They're all having a great old time. Next time you see one of their videos or one of the photos or anything like that, pay attention to the people's faces. You see, at least from my experience, and I could be totally wrong on this, from my experience, I see pretty much everyone that's in there either smiling, enjoying themselves everyone seems very positive to be there. You don't see like a couple that's up against each other and like mean mugging each other or anything like that. Like, you don't see that kind of animosity between people just walking by. But you go into New York, in the States obviously, but you go into New York, you go into Chicago, you walk around any of these big cities that had a plethora of people. You go to any beach for that matter, and people don't want to communicate. People don't want to smile at one another. People don't want to enjoy themselves around one another. They don't have that sense of oneness that you can kind of see through those photos of the World's Fair.
Strange, man. I'm just thinking, like, was the whole, like, they just, I don't know, like the World Fairs and that, they were after the Great Reset, weren't they, or not?
One of them, yeah. Supposedly, and I'm kind of being vague on some of this stuff. You know that I know some of this stuff, but obviously if we're on YouTube.
Yeah.
So one of the things, where was I going with this?
You were talking about the World Fair and
the resets.
Yeah.
So one of the resets that are believed to have happened, and there's quite a bit of interesting information out there when you start digging into like construction and buildings and the actual all that. In the 1800s, basically the early 1800s, there seems to have been some kind of, most of these major cities seem to have already been there and uninhabited, which is weird. My theory, and I don't really have any evidence to back this up, but if you look at Tartaria says that it existed basically into the 1600s, right? It was one of the longest lasting dynasties that basically was from like 400 AD to 1600 AD. beautiful, right? Everyone's working together and all that other fun stuff. Well, if you do a reset in the 1800s, you're not going to get everybody.
Yeah.
Can't always get everybody. And I don't know what the population was at the time. Whatever they did, whatever.
Mm.
You know, maybe they beamed up to another planet or whatever, new
Mm.
consciousness, went into a different dimension, whatever the case may be. There were still some people that knew of those times
Mm.
that were still around. They may not have been able to do everything, but they knew of it.
Mm.
And then you fast forward to almost 100 years later during the 1890s World Fair, and you see a lot of that stuff come back. You see a lot of that tech come back.
Mm.
You know, I know that you've seen some of the videos, you've sent them to me of some remarkable technology
Mm.
basically being posted in the 1800s. Now, my thought
Mm.
is that the mud flood reset didn't actually do everything. I think that there
Mm.
was also another reset prior to that. I think that there was a reset in the 1600s around where the fall of Tartaria was. Um, that they say Tartaria was gone or whatever, something happened, and that's
Mm.
around the 1600s. And then again, you give people a couple generations. Well, you know, one old guy or old girl or whatever telling stories to their grandkids of, oh, yeah, I remember this, that, and the other thing, or that building has always been there. And then you get people starting to think, research for their own, or the old texts that were left around. And again,
Mm.
they've rebuilt the technology in about, you know, call it 4 or 5 generations in about 200 years. And then you
Mm.
got to do it again. So 1800s, we're going to do the mud floods.
Mm.
Sorry. We got to erase some of this knowledge. And then you
Mm.
fast forward to like the 1850s and you got all the fires that are happening in basically every single major city. Um, and then the fire insurance starts coming out, but no, nobody realized that fire burns practically everything. Like these buildings are ancient; they're made out of stone and brick.
Yeah. Because
They,
they had brains that they know that it's not going to set on fire.
yeah, and then they're like, oh yeah, well, all these old buildings were destroyed. I'm sorry, if you go up to, you know, unless it's, I'm not going to say that on here. Um,
This is what.
I was going to talk about there were in New York there were two really really tall
Oh,
buildings,
right. Yeah, 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 yeah.
and
Yeah,
somehow,
yeah,
yeah, I'm
yeah.
not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But you go to an old building right now, all right? I'm sure that there is some abandoned building near you. There's tons over by me. You go to the
Mm.
oldest building that you could find that's abandoned, buy
Mm.
the property, look at it, check it out, excavate it, do whatever you want. But old
Mm.
properties don't really burn.
Mm.
You know, old brick buildings and things of that sort, that you got to go through a
Mm.
lot of heat in order to screw that up.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's
It's not.
basically
It's
what
not.
everything was built at that time is you got these lavish brick buildings or these lavish columns.
Mm.
They're not easy to destroy. I mean, short of an earthquake or a mud flood or something disturbing the ground around them that held their foundation, fire
Mm.
ain't gonna do it.
Yeah, I feel like it's just the mud floods and that it just seems to me like it was just mass rain for one. So weather manipulation could have been easily done that way.
It's not possible
Um,
though. We don't do weather manipulation now, do we?
oh no, no, no.
No, I've never heard of a company called Harp or anything like that. I've never read an article that says that certain countries are actually trying to fund that kind of stuff and that they're doing testing or anything like that. You
No.
know, I've never heard of
Everything.
deserts all of a sudden getting rained on or water popping out of the deserts. For
Remember
those that
this.
are watching, that's all sarcasm. Go look it up.
This is just a role playing game, and everything that we speak about here is nothing real. It's just something that part of a role play.
This is all imaginary. This is all just these are theories
Mm.
from the minds of people that have spent too many hours of imagination inside. This is just pure imagination right here. There's no evidence to back up any of these claims.
So continuing on anyway. So we've gone from the buildings that have been constructed, which we have understanding that they are produced somehow and made into such magnificent architectural and what do you call, I would call them anomalies, because to be able to make something that amazing must take some kind of architectural abilities, as well as how would you construct something that big unless there was massive giant people building them, and it was just like them playing with little blocks, but they were just carving them with their hands, you know.
Yeah, they're just twiddling them. They're like, whatever. Okay.
To make
Here's the steeple. I'll just put this up here now, and we'll just press it down. It'll fit in there like a Lego block. It's fine. These guys don't know what Legos are for another 2,000 years, but.
And then the whole part of the rocks, wood turn into stone was one for me. So how wood can turn to stone? Maybe they were built of wood and then they turned to stone somehow, because it does happen. Wood petrifies to stone. I don't know how. Apparently the minerals in the water gets into the wood and then it turns to stone, but that kind of doesn't really make sense, because I've never known a bit of wood to lay on the ground and then suddenly start turning into a rock.
Yeah, it's supposed to take millions of years, but
it goes.
I know what you're talking about. There's a desert out here in the States. I can't remember what desert in particular, but there's a desert that has a whole bunch of those petrified logs, petrified forest, I think they call it.
Yeah.
And they're cut.
Hang on.
How are they cut? Like, they're cut the same size. It's not like they're stress marks and like it just kind of crumbled apart. They're all cut pretty similarly.
Yeah, they are actually. They're all. Most of the buildings. Also, one sec. Most of the buildings across the whole of the world have got they're identical blocks that they used to build them.
And they're identical footprints too. Almost like, kind of like looking at a computer board. That, you grab a computer board. I mean, you got a little like RTX behind you, but if you grab your motherboard that's made by Corsair and you go grab a motherboard that's made by, I can't think of somebody else, Asus or something like that.
Yeah.
They look very similar. You look at some of these cities and they're pretty similar blueprints too.
I think one of the best cities I've seen is I think it's a city. It's Teotihuacan, I think it's called.
Teotihuacan, yeah.
Yeah. And that is just like circuit board on the ground, like the way it's built. It's just like a circuit board, which makes sense because obviously the pyramids and these structures, they're all designed for one thing, and that's for imaginary free energy from the ether. Right, this imaginary energy that comes from the ether comes down, and they've obviously harnessed ways to magnify that power, the imaginary power, and then transform it into these different areas along this imaginary sort of circuit board, and then they can use it to power up either crafts, which might be to do with going out into the outside of this world, or for keeping the cities with power and light and whatever they need, like for their appliances that they were using potentially thousands of years ago, or however old. I don't know how old Teotihuacan is, I can't think. But so if you work it based on that kind of in an imaginary way would show that the people back then, how many hundreds of years ago, had power and were using some kind of electronic systems, devices, maybe even computers that we don't know about. And there's quite a lot of what do you call it, carvings, graphics in
hieroglyphs,
of people on computers and people with a laptop and a USB drive in the side of it and a monitor and all a keyboard, like a proper. It's just crazy the amount of things I've seen You probably I think I've sent them to you most of the stuff. But yeah, it's just wild, man. It's wild.
I've seen a lot. I mean, that's loud. It's like that sounds like it's like in my driveway. Like, calm down, man. I'm sure y'all could hear that. I mean, you probably hear me like sniffing and all that. Anyway, I don't remember what I was gonna say. You were saying about motherboards, structures. Oh, you were talking about you know what I mean. Have you ever looked into the history of Africa in the 1700s?
Yes, I have.
It's very interesting that they basically had full cities. They had complete cities. They had like Starfoot look at the cities too. But that's
strange,
supposed to be 1700s. Like, we're all told that Africa is pretty much broke, right? They're not.
I'll tell you a strange thing about South Africa. Borderline Zimbabwe area, South Africa, Zimbabwe, like between the two. There's a guy called something Challenger, Stephen Challenger, I think it is, or
that sounds right.
What's his name? Steve Challenger or something. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so.
And basically he wants to create this town called Ubuntu. You must have heard of that. So basically, but with what he was talking about, he goes around showing like massive footprints on like walls and that, where people have obviously been laying down giants with like feet that are the size of a human, like a footprint the size of a human. And he went around, I can't remember where it was, somewhere, wherever it was in South Africa. And he was finding these structures, and they were like enclosed, so you couldn't get inside them. You had to go in from above, which is really weird.
Oh.
And then they found all these, then he kept finding these rocks, and these rocks were a specific shape, and they all had the same frequency when you hit them. They all rang when you hit them. They were made out of some kind of like metal crystal sort of, I don't know. It was basically I'll have to try and find the video. It was like a rock. It looked like almost like a cone, and it'd hit onto a stone, and it would like hum a specific frequency. And he kept finding them all over the place, but around these buildings as well. So I don't know if by the resonation it was creating some kind of energetic, obviously everyone resonating the things at the same tone, so you're harmonizing that specific tone to generate some kind of like either maybe it was for creating moving rocks, or some kind of
just noticed that I'm like slowly twisting my camera.
I thought you was on a boat from it.
Choppy out here. Choppy waves.
Oh man. So yeah, it's crazy. There was something else I wanted to talk about, but I don't know if I should say it, about the old buildings and that, the harnessing the energy and stuff. But I don't know. I think I should keep that to. No, not them buildings. I mean, like the buildings that we've got access to here in the UK, and you've probably got access to a few of them where you are as well.
Oh, I got a bunch, and that's the fun thing about the United States is our history is supposed to be new. We're supposed to be look creepy right now. It's just creepy. What did I come in here for? Yeah, no. Our history is supposed to be like pretty new. It's supposed to be like the 1700s and stuff like that. I really don't remember what I came in here for. Oh, that's what I came in here for. But we're not. We're way older than that.
Yeah.
But I mean, don't look at history or anything like that, because anyway. But yeah, this little book.
Hang on. Oh, one sec.
Oh, what? How'd you do that? Don't hide my background.
Just sitting on my sofa.
Edit audio avatar? No, I don't want to do that.
Do you like my piano?
Look at you. You're just chilling there. Is that under settings?
Let's see how far I can travel around the room. Can I get? Will it take me further? Oh, I
Man,
can
you're
go.
just that's
I
the
can-
most awkward way to lay on your couch I've ever seen.
One sec. Let's see how far I can go.
Legs start to disappear. Oh, yeah, yeah. Now you're floating. There you go. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, no, you're gone. What was I going to look at in here? Yeah, like these buildings. I'm going to flip around my camera, okay?
Hang on. I'm just gonna. I'm just coming in from the living room. Oh, sit on the sofa. Oh yeah.
Right on the arm of the sofa, too.
Oh man.
Here we go. Here's some interesting stuff. Like, how does one make such very similar structures? I don't know if you can see that. Probably
Yeah.
can't see that.
Hang on. Oh.
I can
Wow.
do this. Hold on, let me do Alexa ceiling to 50%. I'm at lights low in here. There we go. That's a little better, right? Let's make some space. Make this look kind of presentable. And we're gonna. Oh gosh, what am I doing? I can't use technology. Me and technology. All right, we're gonna flip flop the camera. So like, there we go.
I'm gonna go onto a building site. Let's go on a building site.
Like, how are all these so similar all over the world?
Hang on. Oh shit. I'm just sitting on the steps at my dad's building site. Yeah.
Just chilling there. Like,
Yeah.
look at these. Like,
Oh my goodness.
it's Italy.
Look at that.
That's Italy right there. Huh. Germany?
I
Germany
feel like
and Italy must have been friends because they have very similar structures. Same thing with Canada. I see you Canadians. The Netherlands. What do we got here? I'm like looking through my phone screen and I could easily read it normally. Portugal. You know, some Denmark areas. You're
That's
telling
crazy.
me
It's crazy, isn't it?
when was that made?
I feel like there's some kind of. I personally think that they've mastered the ability to travel between dimensions, man, and that some of these things, some of these buildings, not these not specifically star forts. It might be, but I feel like that it's a potential that they're able to somehow transfer between a dimension. Do
you remember this building? I think I saw this in a web thing. I think there was a couple websites that featured this building.
Yeah.
I'm talking about websites that are not okay for children. That's terrible. What else do we got in here?
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
What do we got here? What is that? Oh, hey. Oh, that's interesting.
No way.
What is that? I haven't even flipped through this book yet. All these old maps from like the 1400s, 1500s. This is weird. And here's all the star forts. All the star fort locations around the world.
Wow. Wow.
Come on. You're telling me that one architect did all this? Oh, look at that. That is just cool. What is that? What does this say? This says star forts of energy, frequency, and vibration. Weren't we talking about frequency, vibration?
Probably getting some free power from just having the geometric shapes.
Hey, that's ice. We've seen that. That's snow, right?
Yeah, it gets a natural frequency. That's just the frequency that's Yes, coming through its travels from the sky to the ground. It's picking up on a frequency and then it's tuning itself and it's basically freezing itself in that frequency pattern. Oh, that's not right though, is it? Go back to that picture of that never. Oh no, that never used to look like that, man.
That's New Orleans.
That is the Statue of Liberty.
Yeah, but it says Narlands. The 11-pointed star, that fork pike. Wait, maybe it means one of these other ones. There's fork point pike. Yeah, I don't know. It says like
No. See that? Look how many points has it got?
well, there's 2 there. 1, 2, 3. So that's 7. There's 14. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I can't count good, guys. All right.
Right. It's that.
It's gotta be.
What does it say?
12.
What does it say on that picture underneath?
The 11-pointed star.
All right. So
At 4
1,
point.
2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 2, 4, 5. And this is 2 behind the end piece. What's behind the end of it? Like the right behind it, it's got one corner, 1, 2.
Back there's this.
1, 2, 3. And then you got 2 on the sides. 4, 5, 6, 7. And what's at the back?
I think it's the
8,
same
9,
thing as
10,
this.
11. Yeah, it's 11. It's 11. That's right.
I mean, these. Look at that. That looks like a snowflake to me.
Mm.
You're telling me? Oh, come on, focus. Do things. Do things. No, you're making it. Okay, there we go. You're telling me that horse and buggy made that? All this water? I don't know if I believe that part. All right, like that's the history that I don't understand. Horse and buggy made all this. Horse and buggy crossed these bridges.
No
made
chance.
all of this.
No chance, man. No freaking way. No freaking way. Man, where's this? Oh. Sorry, mate. I don't know what I've done then. It just disconnected you from the stream. I didn't click on anything.
No, I was clicking around trying to figure out how to flip my camera back around, and I figured it out, but I turned everything off first.
All right. Cool, man. Let's go. Meow.
But yeah, man, that's just that stuff's weird.
It is indeed. Yeah, let me get off this. Why is this? Hang on.
I'll show you guys my lavish ceiling, just the ceiling, so you guys don't figure out my hodunk place. Try not to. Oh gosh. Oh gosh. All right, you're just gonna go there for now.
Hang on.
Man, we've been doing this for almost an hour.
Have indeed, man. For a long time. About 1 sec. What? I go to trying to find something. Oh, get off. Go away. That's it. That's it. And then. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
It's so hard to keep a straight face.
I Oh man, right, one second. I'll swear my computer sometimes just wants to do its own things. Hang on. Get off. On. So about this, guys. Sorry. Do 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 do.
How do I raise one eyebrow?
Right, okay.
Trying to figure out how to raise one eyebrow over here. I'm just entertaining myself. Look at me, I'm so good.
Oh man. So anyway, just chatting, me and you, just having a chat, you know, as you do. What's your thoughts on what is your thoughts on UFOs and
I mean, what do you want to know?
I don't know. What's your? And actually, no, I'm not going to talk about UFOs. I'm going to ask you about
That gets into some stuff that would get this censored.
I want to ask you about the Masonic Bible and anything else you know about the Masonic Bible, because you can talk about it because they like pushing that kind of stuff on it, mate.
They don't like people talking about it. Well, okay, so I'm not a Mason.
Yeah.
Period. I've been offered several times, but I'm not a Mason.
Yeah.
When I was younger, mostly is when I got offered. Anywho,
Mm.
I did so happen to get my hands on a couple of their books. And I thumbed through them a little bit. I've never read it in its entirety. I'll be honest about that. Just like the Bible, I still have a few verses that I've never read. I've never read Revelation. I don't want to know how it ends. I've heard enough of Revelation that I know it.
Still know it ends.
You know,
Was at the dark stages. I don't know about Bibles. I don't watch anything. I don't read any of it.
the Bible's actually really interesting. I was brought up Christian, Baptist Christian, and this kind of blends into the Freemasonic thing. But I was brought up that way, and one day I was looking at the people I was not idolizing, but I was looking up to. Okay, the people that I was like, okay, they're doing the things right with their life. They're living through, this whole church thing.
Yeah.
And then I realized what they were doing in their spare time, and they were breaking everything that they told me not to.
Right.
Polluting their bodies and all this other stuff. And I'm like, why am I looking up to these people when they're not even doing what it said, what they preach? So I slowly started breaking away. Breaking away is the wrong word. I slowly stopped going as actively. And I started making all these questions for them of, okay, well, it says this here, but wouldn't that actually mean this? Well, no, because we're looking in this new version that totally says it a different way. So I started reading the older and older and older books that I can get a hold of, and researching other religions and looking into other religions because I was curious. I was like, okay, well, what, I've known this Jesus and this God guy for a very long time, and that's what I was brought up on. And if that works for you, that's great. I'm not bashing that because I do seriously really believe that there's a lot of good stuff that's in there. But I started reading into the older versions and I started reading into the history of it, and it slowly led me through other rabbit holes of looking into other religions, why they got the way that they are, what they believe, how is that different from what I already know, and putting all the pieces together. And one of the pieces that I actually stumbled upon was a Freemasonic Bible, which I wasn't supposed to look at. I got yelled at. It was sitting on a shelf in one of my buddy's houses. All right. I didn't know, and I was like curious. I was like, "What the heck is this thing?" I was like, "It's got some cool symbolism on it." I didn't know what symbolism was at the time. I was just like, I've seen those before. What does that mean? I've seen that on people's lapels, on people's rings, and things of that sort. What does that mean? What is this all about? And I flipped to some random stuff, and they got some pictures that are through there. And I read some of the stuff that's in there, and I've researched some of Satanism and Luciferianism. which are different in my opinion, and some other people can argue me. I don't really care. But I do find them to have slightly different meanings behind them. The stuff that is in the Luciferian text is the stuff that scares me. The stuff that's in the Masonic stuff scares me as well, because I was brought up that I was brought up a Christian. There's one Savior. There was one Jesus. Whether or not that's his name, you could do your own research, especially when you're reading the old texts. Again, that's fun. But there was one Jesus that I knew, and that was the one and only Savior. And then you weren't supposed to idolize anyone or anything else. Never idolize. To idol something, to put it up on a pedestal and all that other fun stuff, is to bring you further away from Jesus and his teachings, right?
Yeah.
And I knew that. You basically, you can't serve two masters, okay? And that's what it really comes down to. And there was always this thing inside the Bible that said that you're not supposed to pledge yourself or give an oath to anyone else besides that one guy, right? Besides Jesus and besides God. Well, in Freemasonic texts, and I'm not supposed to talk about this, but I'm not a Mason, so I can get away with it. There are some things that you have to, some oaths that you have to take, and there are several degrees that are inside these oaths. And again, I'm butchering a lot of this. I'm trying to dumb it down for some people, but the oaths that were in there and the things that they could do to enforce those oaths, I didn't think was in the right way. And I still don't believe that it's in the right way. The way that you actually have to present yourself, the way that you join these things, they just seem sketchy to me. And the more I read, the more curious I got, because the more vile the punishments got, and the more abstract the oaths got. And the Bible, the version that I got, I think was only like the first, or what I actually could read, I think was probably only like the first like 6, maybe 10 degrees of Masonry. But again, if that's at the beginning, what the heck's at the end?
Yeah.
Like, what are these oaths that you have to keep taking? And then it struck me, like I said before, you cannot serve two masters. You can't have an oath to one thing and go out and do another thing. So, for instance, if I'm, let's say I'm a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm a doctor, and I took this oath that says that I'm going to do no harm. Right? But let's say I'm a Kevorkian doctor. You're skating a really gray area. You can't do no harm, but then also stop that body from existing, from being, granted, I've talked to a lot of people that are in the medical field, and they say, most of them that have like a slight sense of humor and sarcasm and things of that sort, they say that the most stable position that you could find any patient is dead. It's true. Your heart rate's never going to change. Your blood pressure is never going to change. I get the twistedness of that reality. But again, being a Kevorkian, that also said that you're going to do no harm. You can't serve two masters. That's the same. It's a twisted way of looking at it, and I'm sorry for those that may have been offended. But with Freemasonry, you cannot serve two masters. You can't be a Freemason and be a pastor at the same time. At the same time. You can't be a Freemason and be a deacon. Yeah, and I'm relating this a lot to Christianity because that's what I was brought up on. That's what I actually like. I know it's all buried in here. This old head of mine. But yeah, I mean, like that's what really bothered me, is that you can't pledge yourself to somebody else and then say that it's okay. Like, this is a better example than the doctor thing. Your best friend, all right, let's say you and your best friend are hanging out, you're both dudes, just for this scenario, and your best friend and his girlfriend break up, but you were friends with the girlfriend too. you're in a weird spot now because they're both going to complain to you about the other one, and you're gone.
Sorry, I'm back. I don't know. It's just playing up.
Yeah, they're starting to tone us down. Anyway, they're both going to complain to you about the other one. Now, you can't serve both of them at the same time. Same thing goes for Freemasonic stuff and all that. And again, the deeper you go into it, the more twisted it gets. Morals and dogma, really messed up. Some people like it, and to each their own if you really like that kind of stuff, but that does tell you who they actually worship in plain English. And that is not somebody that I want to worship. The person that I want to worship, the person that I want to praise, the ideal is first taking care of this broken human being that's been through all kinds of crap and struggle. Find a way to heal myself so I can heal others. And that's exactly what you did.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. It's interesting. It's very interesting.
Sorry about that.
So I was going to say, what's your take on the so Jesus was alive and he had, well, so far as the evidence is, he was a person who lived. But what was the actual? Am I in the picture? Can you see me?
I can see you, yeah. You're just laying in the middle of your living room, kind of like half on your coffee table.
On my side, it's just a black image. Oh,
you flip-flopped us. Oh, now you flip-flopped us back.
I'm going to refresh. Hang on.
Hi, everybody. Hopefully my ugly mug isn't destroying your screens.
There we go. I'm back.
Oh, you're back. Heck yeah. I was just
no,
talking to
I couldn't see it on my end.
But yeah, you're still on the screen.
Yeah, no one's even commenting, man. Probably ain't even people follow it. It's probably just people, operatives. I hope it doesn't say anything it shouldn't be saying. So I'm saying I've got over 1,300 people that are part of my members for my channel. Maybe it's not been shown to people, or the actual view count doesn't actually show a true indication of what your views are. Do you know?
Dude, that reminds me actually. So like in the last couple of years, a lot of things have been kind of weird. Things that we can't always talk about. But one of the things that I found the most weird is how fast things got deleted or slowed down. Somebody would say something that I completely and totally was like, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Maybe it be about Tartaria, maybe it be about something else at that time. But I was like, okay, that makes sense. I want to know more about that. And I'd come back and that stuff would be deleted. Or you look at it and the view count would be like 10. And you're like, you look at the rest of all their stuff and their view, for the video after and the video before, it's like 10,000. Like, then I started hearing about this shadow banning stuff. And I'm like, all right, maybe there's certain subjects that these apps don't want us talking about.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is fine. I mean, if you're a private app, that's fine. If you're working as a private institution, I'm not well versed in the laws out in your neck of the woods across the pond, but I know quite a bit about the laws out here. And there's a few different amendments to those laws that were made a couple hundred years ago.
Yeah.
Obviously some more recent, but there's certain things that you can't do in their stance. And I'm trying to pick my words wisely, but the people that are allowed to say, hey, you can't say that, or I don't want you talking about that, or what have you, on these private institutions, these private apps, are allowed to do that. The unprivate portion, I'm trying not to use the name, but you guys get what I'm talking about. Out here, we have a couple different, houses that are allowed to make certain rules through that branch of, I'm not going to use the word because, but if that entity that decides to make the rules comes in to a private institution. What? Oh, I'm not allowed to talk about this?
No, sorry, you can. I went the.
Oh, yeah.
So, isn't it? It's 3 words.
It's 3
3
words.
letters. 3 letters.
And most of them are all 3-letter or 4-letter agencies. But anyway,
all right,
them as a whole, they're not allowed to tell a private institution what can and cannot be said. That private institution can decide for themselves. But if they request something specifically and say, hey, this group of individuals, name it a powerful group of individuals that deal with a lot of laws and things of that sort. If they come down to a private institution and they say, or private, a streaming service and whatnot, and they say, hey, we don't want you talking about X, Y, and Z. Okay. They can't say that, and they cannot enforce that because that breaks the very first.
It's funny you're saying this, and then the view count starts to go down, and then back up. It's weird. Go on.
Yeah, because this information doesn't want to. They don't. I get it. It's dangerous to know things. Knowledge is power. The most. What is the greatest? The greatest currency right now is data. Right? Is our data being sifted and filtered, and these cameras recording all this stuff all the time and picking up our audio and all that other stuff. It's to sell stuff, right? You jump onto any streaming or not streaming, any social media, and there's an ad for something that you were talking about like 2 days ago or maybe an hour ago. It's done on purpose to sell things. But when you use it to slow down speech, there are a couple court things that are happening right now that are going to be big when they actually get released.
Oh, and who's that? Who's that? What's that with regards to?
So there's I can't remember the dude's name right off the top of my head right now. But they've been reviewing some different court documents that involve some main social media networks.
Right.
And again, I'm not going to give it all away, but they're doing it through the court system, and they're explaining this that I just explained very bluntly to those that were in charge or are in charge of those social media programs, and they don't realize that what they're doing is bad. What they're doing is a total violation. Now, them doing it privately is not a violation. Them being told by another institution is a violation of that institution.
Yeah.
Which leads to other terms which kind of make you hang around outside in public. At least that's the punishment. That was the punishment. It's always been the punishment. Is to just kind of hang around in public. I don't know if I'm allowed to say all this stuff. This is your channel. You can go ahead and delete this.
I don't care, man. I don't care. I really don't care. Hang on, let me just That's got to do something. Oh shit. Yeah, we should maybe change subjects.
Yeah, probably. Since the view count went down. Let's go back over to Tartaria. Let's go back over to let's talk about something else.
I see something earlier. The Great Wall of China, Great Wall of Tartaria, really. I'm just going to post a few pictures up. Share the image, share screen. Let's open it up on this side. Hopefully it stays this side. So we've got I'm just going to go screen share, put my screen 2 on, bosh. You can see that. We could always do what's that? No.
That's a beautiful building.
Oh, wrong one. Wrong one. Oh, we can sit next to it or look underneath it. So this is pretty amazing, to be fair. This is I don't even know what it's called, but it's just a building with. I know it's not very good quality. Bless you.
Thank you.
It's got some weird architectural structures to it. You can see the typical Tartarian sort of blocks, you
Columns.
know, these sort of columns, yeah. And then it goes up to these next columns with, I don't know what this is, these things at the front. Some kind of like, who knows? I really can't.
This almost look like
There you go,
faces
look at it.
overlooking.
Like that there, it's weird. I don't know. I'm going to get a better image up because this isn't the best. That's it from the outside.
Now, I got a challenge for all the architects that are ever going to watch this. Make that.
Mm.
I want one architect. I want one person to make a cathedral like that.
Out of the most amazingly cut pieces of rock and extremely heavy, extremely well put together. This would have taken some extreme, what would you call it? It would have just taken a long time to do.
I love it.
And
They put, you see the scaffolding that's up there and the cranes and all that.
Yeah, that's just the cleaner stuff.
Dude, they're making it look like, yeah, we built this with cranes. Like, for real?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
you built that in the 1700s or the 1600s? That's actually probably from the 1500s
oh, that's amazing.
or somewhere in there. You know, you built that during horse and buggy, man? For real?
No chance.
Like, look at those perfect circles that were in those windows. Those are perfect circles.
Yeah, and then we've got more. I'm going to find another image. Hang on. You've got those as well.
Look at that. You can't do that right now. Like, go ahead and make a building out of stone like that. I dare any architect to take on the project. See if it's even feasible. And then how long would it take you to make that?
See
Tech.
all these top parts. I feel like they may have been manipulated, like the colors and that.
That one was altered. Those top spires were altered.
Definitely altered. They look altered.
Because if you look at the orbs that are around them,
yeah,
everything else below that is absolutely pristinely perfect, and then those orbs
they just look out of place.
Slightly off centers.
They are.
Like, look at the gap between them and everything like that. The gaps are wrong in between them, but everything underneath it is
perfectly
perfect and uniform.
Yeah. Let's have a look. What else we got? Hang on. Do.
Do you have a shot of the Great Wall?
Oh, that's the original building before they
renovated it.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's one of them. Hang on. No. I know that's the same thing. But look at that, man. It's crazy, isn't it?
Absolutely glorious. Like, you know, every once in a while, like, I live like outside of cities. You know, but I'll go into some of the older cities in this area every once in a while. You know, go out bar hopping or just hang out with friends or grabbing a bite or whatever, and like just take a look around. Any town, anywhere that was built anytime in this, and again, I'm out in the States, so the 1700s, the 1800s, you believe that it's horse and buggy at the time, that we didn't have any power tools until what, 1920 or something like that, 1918.
Yeah.
Early 1900s is when we had our first power tool, but those things are gloriously constructed. And then you look at the construction even of the buildings in a town that was built somewhere around the 1800s, and you got windows that are underground. You got floors that, like, the first floor is almost always up a staircase. Why is that?
Oh, hang on. Sorry. Sorry about this. Where is it? I just clicked on it. Right, let's move this to the other. Let's move this to the other screen. Put it on the wrong screen. There we go. I don't know if you can hear the audio from this. This is my mate Shadrach, and he lives in the UK. I've chatted to him. I do chat to him on the phone sometimes.
Me and him have the same kind of hair.
Yeah.
I think, you know, his mustache is better than mine, but my beard is much better than his.
Tell me if you can hear the audio. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Can you hear that?
No, I got no audio.
Oh, man. Let's hide this little sharing thing. Maybe there's a button.
I've seen that one.
Share. Oh, stop screen. Share with share screen. Must have with audio. That's it. Right. Here we go. Here we go. Your browser can't access your screen. Try to capture a different screen. Discontinues. All right. I'll do it again.
Oh, it's because you got multiple screens open.
Yeah. Share screen. Share screen. That one. And audio. Share. No, it's not letting me. Oh, that's funny. All right, share the other screen and screen 3. Share. Oh, that's working. No, let me try that one now, the original one. Just unstop sharing and let's do it again. Share with audio. The browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different. This is absolute fucking bollocks. There's no one watching anyway, so it don't really matter. But
I'm gonna be upside down guy.
Let's see if I can do it with that one.
It's so awkward.
It's not letting me.
It's so hard to hold my phone this way. I don't know which way to turn.
It's not letting me send audio for some reason. Share screen with audio. No, browser can't access your screen. Try capturing a different screen to see if this continues. Share screen. I'll share screen 3 with audio. Window. Ah, right, okay. Chrome tab, window. Share window. Right, okay. And then, but is it going to do the sound? No. Okay, actually, I might be able to share a file. Hang on, let me try that. Share video file. Okay, this is better. Where is it? 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 What was I in? This is in September 22, and it is 2 from the bottom. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Ah, there it is.
Oh my days. When you think you've seen it all, you ain't seen nothing yet.
I got a black screen.
Alfred,
Is it a black screen?
I got a black screen, but I can hear it.
Oh my day. You're doing this on purpose, man.
Oh yeah.
You can't share nothing. Like, it's literally like screwing up. Full screen that. Let's try that.
No.
Nothing.
Let me try and cancel it and re-put it on there. Full screen. Remove from stream. Now let's try it one more time. Add to stream.
Vanished during a summer.
No, it's completely gone.
My days.
Yeah.
I like how he says that. He says that a lot. Oh my days.
Share screen. Let's try it one more time. Share that with audio. Nope. Let's do share video file. Let's try and share something that's not going to get flagged then and see if that works. Like this one.
Is a scam. Hi, I'm Shannon, and I'm
not working.
Nah.
No, it's just a video I just had on my thing. I just wanted to see if it works. Anyway, no worries.
Oh, well, they gotta look it up for themselves.
Yeah, stupid. I can't believe no one's watching, man. 0 views so far. Not after, however long it was. I'm just going to cancel the live and we'll just chat now. But thanks for watching, everyone. People who did log in. And if you watched the video afterwards, I hope you enjoy our little chat, random chat, boring chat, interesting chat, however you see it. Peace and love. And
Peace
I'm
and
gonna do an Illuminati triangle. Hopefully, give me some more views.
Oh, here.
Hang on, how's it go? Is that it?
You got to cover up one eye. That's
Yeah.
that's the thing.
One eye.
Watch, now you're gonna get like an email, and they're gonna be like, "Hey, what are you doing on Saturday?"
I can't do it. Right, anyway. Peace and love.
Bye, y'all.
End broadcast. Pew!